Hello everyone, myself B. Vijaya, lecturer in chemistry, working in Indira Priyadarshini Government Degree College for Women, Nampalli. We are discussing the chapter called Coordination Compounds. And what are the coordination compounds? So this chapter is very important for the especially UG students, means BSc students, and also for the PG students. And in undergraduation level, the BSc students are having uh, from the third semester onwards they are having this coordination chapter. Third semester, fourth semester, fifth semester, they are having the coordination compounds, and in the sixth semester they are having the applications of the coordination compounds. So it is a very important for the BSc students especially, and not only for the theory examinations but also for their MSc entrance examinations also. That is the reason I want to give the detailed explanation in the coordination compounds. So, what are the coordination compounds? And I'm starting with the basic level, that is from the inorganic molecules. Inorganic molecules. What are the inorganic molecules here? And in chemistry, we know the periodic table is there. In the periodic table, around 120 elements are present, right? Everyone know, as the chemistry students we have to know that one. And in the 120 elements can form the molecules, right? Molecules with either themselves or with the other molecules also. If they form the molecules with themselves, those are called as the homonuclear molecules. If they form the molecules with other elements, so those are called as the heteromolecules, heteronuclear molecules even. So all these are comes under the inorganic molecules only. And here another chemistry is also there, that is the organic chemistry, that is different with the this inorganic chemistry. So here chemistry is are of two types, one is the inorganic chemistry and another one is the organic chemistry. So the inorganic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and another one is the organic chemistry. So chemistry is basically are of two types. Basically are of two types. One is the inorganic chemistry and another one is the organic chemistry. So what is organic chemistry? This is completely the study of hydrocarbons, hydrogen and carbon molecules. So these hydrocarbon molecules along with the either oxygen or nitrogen or halogens, means the highly electronegative elements if present, this compounds, but there should be a carbon and hydrogen. Okay, hydrocarbons along with the highly electronegative atoms like oxygen, nitrogen, and the halogen. So these, the study of these molecules are called as a organic chemistry. And we discussed, means what is there in the organic chemistry is the hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are nothing but alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and the carbonyl compounds like aldehydes and ketones, alcohols, right? So all these amines, carboxylic acids, esters, and anhydrides, all these are comes under the heading of organic chemistry here. And what is inorganic chemistry is whatever the 120 elements are there. What are the 120 elements are there? These elements, the compounds of these elements are studied under the heading of inorganic chemistry. So inorganic molecules are any molecules here, and majorly these inorganic molecules are of two types. One is a salts and another one is a addition or molecular compounds. And this addition or molecular compounds again divided into two types, categorized into two types. What are the two types are the double salts, and the second category of this addition molecules or molecular compounds are complex compounds. So we will let us discuss all these things one by one. Now first I am starting with the salts. So what is a salt? Actually, a simple salt is a electrically neutral and formed by electrostatic forces of attractions. What is the meaning of this electrostatic forces of attractions are? This takes place between the cations and the anions. So, what is the electrostatic forces of attraction is nothing but when, if any, the positive ion is there, and it is surrounded by the negative ion, means this positive ion is called as a cation, and negatively charged ion is called as an anion. So the electrical charges are opposite to each other here. This is a positive charge and this is the negative charge. Obviously, this oppositely charged ions will be attracts each other. So these are called as the electrostatic forces of attraction. So that the balance is takes place between the cation and the anion, and this is called as the electrostatic forces of attractions between the cation and the anions. So when they attract with each other, when they combine with each other, they will become a crystalline salt. So this is a neutral form now. Why? Because this AB molecule is not forming, not carrying any charge here, unlike this cation and anion. When they combine with each other, it forms a neutral compound. This neutral compound is a electrically neutral. Electrically neutral means these charges, whatever the charges are carrying by their constant ions, so these charges are satisfied, these charges are balanced by the other charge equally. So this is called as a salt. What is a salt? Once again I am repeating, a simple salt is electrically neutral. This is a salt, this is a salt, and this is a electrically neutral compound which is formed by the electrostatic forces of the attractions, electrostatic forces of attractions between the cation and the anions, right? Cations and the anions. Let us see here, there are the two atoms are there, and these two atoms are having a electrons. These are the nucleus of one atom and this is the nucleus of one atom, and this atom is giving one electron. It is gifting, means as a gift it is giving to the this atom here, means it is losing one electron, it is giving its electron to this atom, so that one of the electron will be lessened here, and this extra electron will be added to the this atom here, so that this atom carries a positive charge, so that it will become a cation, and this electron, since it is receiving, it is accepting this electron very happily, so that is the reason this atom is having the excess of electrons now. So because of this extra electron, it carries a negative charge, because this electron is carrying a negative charge. So this extra electron will become a, means negative charged particle. This atom, by accepting this electron, this total atom will become a negatively charged molecule. So in the combination of these two, they will form the salts. Let us take one example for this. Here sodium atom, I am taking here sodium atom, since sodium is having a one electron here. So sodium, what is the atomic number of the sodium? The atomic number of the sodium is 11, so that its electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, p6 and 3s1. right? So we can see here two electrons here and total 8 electrons present in the second orbital, and whatever the third orbital here, one electron is there, it is losing its electron, so that the third orbital is disappearing. And by losing its electron to the fluorine, because fluorine is a highly electronegative atom, and it requires one extra electron here, right? One extra electron, so that it completes its shell. Its outermost orbital will become 8 electron, octet configuration it gets, right? So octet configuration it is getting, and because of this extra electron taken from the sodium, it is carrying a negative charge here, and this sodium is losing the one electron to the fluorine. So because of this reason, this electron it is losing, this electron from the outermost orbital it is losing. So it is having a octet configuration, and here the fluorine is also having a octet configuration. How? Say fluorine is having a 9, right? 9 atomic number, and 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. The second orbital is having a 5 electrons only. But when the fluoride ion means after accepting one extra electron to the this p orbital, now the electronic configuration will becomes 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 now. So this is the fluoride ion is forming, and here sodium by losing its one electron, it is forming a sodium plus ion. So this electronic configuration of sodium plus ion now 1s2, 2s2, p6, right? So this is having a octet configuration, it is happy now. And this fluorine is also having a octet configuration by accepting a one electron from the sodium plus. So it is a happy now, and because of this electronic transactions taking place between the sodium and the fluoride minus ion, means this is becomes a cation now, cation, and this is a anion. So there are the attractions are taking place between this positively charged cation and the negatively charged anion, and it is forming a the salt called electrically neutral salt called sodium fluoride, the simple salt. This is a simple salt only, and which is electrically neutral and formed by the electrostatic forces of attractions between the cation and the anion. And how the cation is forming? By losing one electron from its outermost orbital. See here, the orbital is disappearing, and after that it is carrying a positive charge, and this electron is added to the 2p orbital of the fluorine here, and it is forming into a negative charged anion. So this is all about the salts. The next one is the additional compounds or molecular compounds. So what are the additional compounds and molecular compounds? Let us see now. What are the additional compounds are when solutions of two or more salts are mixed in their simple stoichiometric ratios or in their molecular proportions and then evaporated, the crystals of new compounds separated out. These new compounds are called additional or molecular compounds. That means when the when the more than two salts are mixed together in their simple stoichiometric ratios. So what is the meaning of the stoichiometric ratios here? The stoichiometric ratio means, for example, here I am writing sodium is there. The sodium, the valency of the sodium is the +1 only. That means it can it can lose only one electron, and it can form a one bond only with either fluoride or chlorine, whatever it may be, chloride or fluoride or OH minus or whatever it may be. So this is a simple cation here, simple cation, and when this cation is can form the bond with the any other ion, right? Chloride ion, so it can form the sodium chloride. So what is the stoichiometric ratio means? Here how many number of moles of the sodium ions we are taking, and here how many number of moles of the chloride ions we are taking. That means it is a quantitative ratio, molecular proportions it is. These are called as a molecular proportions. That means here for this reaction, in order to form a 1 mole of the sodium chloride, we require 1 mole of the sodium plus ions and 1 mole of the chloride minus ions, so that we can get a sodium chloride. Similar way, let us take the other page here. Um, so that we can discuss better. Okay, so for example, the simple equation I want to give you is sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Okay, Na2CO3 is reacting with a HCl molecule. Since it is a base, right? It is a base, and this HCl is a acid, and they both, when this acid reacts with the base, they forms into a neutral compound that is called as a salt. So the salt they will give. So what is the product? What is the salt? What is the salt product? It will take place is the sodium chloride plus water molecule plus carbon dioxide. That means the neutral compounds they will give. Now balance the equation here. So what is the stoichiometric proportions are, what are the molecular proportions? Stoichiometric ratios are molecular proportions. Here how many sodium atoms are there here? Only one sodium atom. But how many sodiums are there here? Two sodiums are there. So simply I am keeping the two sodium here, and here one hydrogen is there, but here two hydrogens are there, so I am keeping two here. Now this equation is balanced. So how I am saying this equation is balanced? All the elements are balanced, right? So for example, sodium 2 Na2, it is balanced. And chlorines, how many are there now? By keeping the 2 here, 2 moles of the HCl, so 2Cl is there and 2Cl, it is balanced. H2 is there and 2H is there, it is balanced. And here one oxygen, and here two oxygens are there. So totally how many oxygens? Three oxygens are there. So here also three oxygens are there. Now it is balanced. This is the simple chemical reaction actually. This is a simple chemical reaction, and in this simple chemical reaction, how many moles of the sodium carbonate is required to react with the how many moles of the HCl, hydrochloric acid, in order to give a neutral compound. So to neutralize this sodium carbonate, or to neutralize this this HCl, hydrochloric acid, so how many moles are required here? Here we are taking 1 mole of the sodium carbonate, and it is required to neutralize the 2 moles of the HCl, or otherwise we can also say that the 2 moles of the HCl is required to neutralize 1 mole of the sodium carbonate here. So to get a neutral compound, so this is the 1:2 ratio. 1:2 ratio. So here chemicals we are taking the molecular proportions in 1:2 ratio. These are also called as the stoichiometric ratios. One more example I want to take to get a clarity here. So here sodium carbonate we have taken. No? So now the second example we are taking the sodium bicarbonate. NaHCO3. So when it react with the HCl, again the neutral molecules will form. So what are the neutral molecules? Sorry, this is I will rub this one. Uh, Okay, what are the neutral molecules? Again, sodium chloride, same neutral molecules. Whatever the neutral molecules formed here, H2O, this is the water, it is a liquid, carbon dioxide, it is a gas, so it will evaporate, it leaves. Okay, so our vessels contains this neutral compounds only. However, the carbon dioxide will be released as a gas because it is a gas. Okay, this is a liquid. Okay, and this sodium chloride is a solid, and here also same, it is a solid, it is a liquid. The solid PPT it will form are dissolved in the this water, means it is a solution form it contains, and this is a gas, it will release us into the atmosphere. And this is a salt, electrically neutral compound, salt it will form. This is a salt, this is a salt, and neutral compound, that is the reason this type of the reactions are also called as the neutralization reactions. Acid base reactions are neutralization reactions. Again here sodium bicarbonate is a weak base and HCl is a strong acid. And now how many moles of the sodium bicarbonate is required to react with a how many moles of the HCl in order to give a neutral compounds like sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Now let us balance this equation. Sodium is balanced, isn't it or not? Sodium, one sodium is there, one sodium is there. And here how many hydrogens are there? One hydrogen is there, one hydrogen. So totally two hydrogens on the reactant side, right? So reactant should be equal to product side. If it is not equal, then we need to balance, right? So this hydrogen, two hydrogens are there, and here also two hydrogens are there. And how many carbons are there? One carbon is there and one carbon is there. It is balanced. Now, how many oxygens are there here? Three oxygens are there. Let us check now. Here one oxygen and here two oxygens. Totally three oxygens, right? And one Cl is there and here one Cl is there. So, all the reactant sides are equal to product side. Whatever the entities are there, what are the components are there in the reactant side are equal to the product side also. So the product is neutralizing here with the how many moles of the reactants are involving. See, this is the base 1 mole and this HCl is also 1 mole. That means this reaction is taking place in 1:1 molecular proportions only or stoichiometric ratios only. So these are called as a stoichiometric ratio or molecular proportions. So let us move to our slide. When the solutions of two or more salts are mixed in their simple stoichiometric ratios, we already discussed what is the stoichiometric ratios just now, and then evaporated. So after mixing into their stoichiometric ratios, when the two chemical components are mixed together in their molecular proportions and then they evaporated, and after evaporation they converts into a crystals of the new compounds, means the after evaporation the crystals of the new compounds will be separated out, means they completely turned into the products, the reactants completely disappears and they turn into the product side. See here the blue color, this is a one reactant and this is the another reactant, and the pink color solution is forming after heating, right? Just once again you watch this one, this is a blue color, this is a green color, and pink color solution is forming, coming out. So After evaporation means after heating or boiling the things, whatever the chemicals are present, so they are completely disappears. They combine together and completely disappears, and they converted into the new product. And this new product will be a crystalline form. Crystalline form. And these new compounds are called as the additional compounds or the molecular compounds. So, this additional molecular compounds are of two types again. One is the double salts and another one is the complex molecules. Means here the salts are mixing, right? So there is the two possibilities are there. These salts, they can form a double salts and they can also form a complex molecules. So what are the double salts and what are the complex molecules? Let us see now. The double salts. The double salts are nothing but these are also a molecular or additional compounds. Molecular compounds are additional compounds. That means when the two or more than two salts are combined with each other, they are simply added together and formed into a double salt. If two salts we have taken, for example, here aluminum sulfate we have taken and potassium sulfate we have taken, and they are converted into a simply addition. Just I will write here AlS4 4 taken 3 times. Aluminium sulfate when added to this potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate means K2SO4, right? So aluminium sulfate when they are added to the potassium sulfate in presence of excess of water. So excess of water we are taking here, excess of water I'm taking, and it is converting into a potash alum. The potash alum, the combination of these molecules means this salt. This is a salt one. This is a salt one, and this is a salt two. Simply we are adding. This is a salt 2. So just we are adding the aluminum sulfate and potassium sulfate here, and in the presence of water, that means how many water molecules it requires is 24 molecules of the water it requires. And when they are evaporated and after evaporation they are converted into a crystalline form, crystalline compound they will form, and this crystalline compound is having a composition is K2SO4 dot Al2SO4 taken thrice dot 24 water molecule. So this is a simply addition reaction. The addition reaction is taking place. Simply the addition of two salts are taking place here. And this is called as a potash alum. This is called as a potash alum. So here what are the double salts? These are the molecular or addition compounds. These double salts are the addition compounds, and these addition compounds, just by combining the two salts, more than two salts or two or more than two salts, they form the addition compound. Addition compound. The example is potash alum, and these double salts are lost their identity. They lost their identity in the solution, but when they are added to the solution, means here potash alum, if you take the potash alum, they completely lost their identity here. But when they dissolve into the water or any solvent, okay, any solvent, the universal solvent is the water, and this potassium alum solution, in the potash alum solution we can find the ions of K plus, Al3 plus, SO4 2 minus, right? So the constant particles we can find out. So they break down into a simple ions. But when you test this potash alum, here they lost their identity. They lost their identity means here we cannot find, means it cannot be act as a potassium or sulfate. This is completely become a salt. This salt is having a new properties, actually new properties they acquire. But when they are added into a solvent, when they is converted into a solution form, in their solutions they break down into a this ions, and these ions can give the positive test for their characteristic test. Means in the salt analysis we can find the K plus ion and Al3 plus ion and sulfate 2 minus ion. The test they will give the positive identification test and confirmation test also. But in the crystalline form they lost their identities. So this is about the double salts. And what are the complex molecules? The complex molecules are also a molecular compounds or additional compounds only. So how they will form? By combining the more than two salts. When the more than two salts are mixed together, and when they evaporated, they converts into the crystalline state, right? They convert into the crystalline state, and they are completely lost their identities. And here, these compounds, which retain their identities even when dissolved in the water also. That means when these complex molecules form, when the complex molecules form, actually they lost their identities. They lost their identities, but after losing their identities, when the complex molecule form, they completely it is act as a one entity only. Completely it will become a just behave as a one new molecule, new compound, or it acquires a new properties actually. And after dissolving into the water also, after dissolving into the water also, they retain their identities only, and they completely lose their individual properties. The individual properties they will lose. For example, here I'm taking the example of KCN, potassium cyanide I'm taking, and silver cyanide. Silver cyanide. This is a one salt, right? This is a one salt, and this is also a salt. So the addition of potassium cyanide and the silver cyanide is taking place, and this will be convert when they are reacted with each other. They convert into a potassium salt of silver. This molecule it will give. Okay, so when the two salts are added together, means these additional compounds or molecular compounds are of two types, right? So one is the double salt. Already we have seen here, this is a double salt. That is a, when these two salts are combining with each other, they are forming a one completely new compound, that is a potash alum, and they lost their identity in the crystalline form. But when they dissolved into the water solvent, they again they break down into a simple, their simple ions, like a potassium plus ion, aluminum plus 3 ion, and sulfate minus 2 ions. But here in this case, when the potassium cyanide is added to the silver cyanide, it is converting into a complex molecule. Now this is the second type of the molecule. And here, when it is dissolved into the water or any solvent, when it is dissolved into the water, so it which will give the potassium ions only, but whatever the entities are there here, silver cyanide. So in the silver cyanide, it completely is behaves as a new compound. That means this will not be separated. They completely lost their identities, and this complex is retained their identity in the presence of water also, on hydrolysis also, H2O. Okay, so this is means this is also the salt. It is also like a salt molecule only. So potassium carries the positive charge and this complex ion carries the negative charge. So anionic complex it will form. So this is the combination of K plus means cation and the anion. So it is also a salt, electrically neutral compound. So in water molecule, when the water molecule added to this particular compound complex, so this K plus ions can be detached from the this complex. Why? Because this K plus ions are uh, in the ionic sphere of the complex here. So these K plus ions can means it can be separated, but the silver cyanide means silver lose their identity. It cannot give the positive test for the test in the salt analysis, and the cyanide also, whatever the poisonous behavior is there, and whatever the chemical and the physical properties of this silver as well as the cyanide, they completely lose their um, uh, properties, and they behave like completely different from those of the constituent particles like silver and cyanide. So this completely it becomes a completely single entity. It completely behaves as a single ion like this. Just K plus how it will behave, and just like a K plus, this will be acts as a one anion, one entity only, not like a silver and cyanide. They did not having a, this individual properties. So, these are also a molecular or additional compounds which retain their identities even after dissolving into the water also, or any other solvent, and having a properties completely different from the whatever their constituent particles or constituent elements. So here the potassium ion is having a positive charge, and cyanide it will give a positive test for the cyanide here, and silver for the silver ion, for the silver cyanide, if you add any compound which is having a halogen, so silver halides will form. It will be separate out, it will give the ppt with the halogen test, but here this silver will not give the halogen test here. Okay, so it completely it will be changed into the silver cyanide only. Means here the complex molecule it has been changed. Dicyano silver it will form, but not the this not like this silver. It will completely different with this silver ion here. This is a different one. This is also a different one, and these are called as this complex molecule. This such type of the complex molecules are called as a coordination compounds. And the branch of inorganic chemistry, so the branch of inorganic chemistry which deals with the study of coordination compounds are called coordination chemistry. So what is the so, the branch of inorganic chemistry which deals with the study of coordination compounds are called coordination compounds. So, this coordination chemistry is a very vast chemistry, actually, very big branch of the inorganic chemistry. And here in nature also, for example, this is the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is rich enough in the plants, right? So leaf is having a green color pigment. Why? Because of the presence of magnesium present in the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the responsible for the green color of the this leaves. And the blood, hemoglobin is also a almost this kind of the structure only. Four pyrrole rings will be there around the iron is the central metal cation, and here in the chlorophyll the magnesium is a central metal cation, and hemoglobin is also such type of the this kind of structure only, almost. And vitamin b12. So like that so many compounds are there, and the all these are the coordination compounds. So what are the coordination compounds? they will completely different from the constituent particles, and they retain their identities. They will convert into, when the two salts are combined with each other, they converts into a one new compound. That new compound is having a special properties, special physical and new physical and new chemical properties, and they will retain their properties, their identities, even after dissolving into the water also. So those are called as the complex molecules or coordination compounds, and the study of coordination compounds are called as the coordination chemistry. These are called as the coordination chemistry. So here one more example I want to give you for the better understanding. Uh, just sorry. So here I'm taking the nickel chloride. So nickel chloride is the example I'm taking, and this is a simple salt only, simple salt which is formed by the two entities here. What are the two entities? This is a nickel, okay, nickel, and nickel is in the +2 oxidation state, and the another one is the chloride which is carrying a minus charge, right? So nickel chloride, NiCl2. So here nickel is having a +2 oxidation state and chloride is having a -1 oxidation state. And this nickel chloride is having the green color one. This is having a green color solution. Green color solution. But when this green color solution is added to the some excess of ammonia. So when the ammonia is added to, when the excess of amount of the ammonia is added to the green color solution of the nickel chloride. So this is the molecular formula of the ammonia. When it is added, when both are added together, and it is forming the solution of purple color. It is completely, the green color is converting, this green color solution of nickel chloride when added to the ammonia is completely converting into a purple color molecule. Purple color, purple color. So what is the purple color solution is having actually? What is the purple color solution is having? The molecular formula of purple color is having is the nickel hexaamine nickel chloride. So this solution it is converting, means when this salt is added to the, or excess amount of the ammonia is added to the this particular salt, this salt is initially in the green color, and this green color solution is converting into a purple color solution. So what is happening here is, when the scientists are observed, when the scientists are tested these two molecules, what are the difference is taking place between these two molecules is, here you see here nickel is in the +2 oxidation state, and which is balancing its valency, right? Balancing its valency, balancing its valency, that means simple inorganic molecule, simple salt it is forming. But here nickel, here also in the +2 oxidation state only. If you calculate the oxidation state, I will tell you what, how to calculate the oxidation state here later. So or otherwise when it is dissolved into the water, means hydrolysis takes place. Hydrolysis means hydro plus lysis. So hydrolysis means the addition of water, the lysis. Lysing means breaking the molecules. So if we break the molecules by adding the water, that is called as the hydrolysis process. What does it mean? Hydrolysis, lysis. Okay, hydro means addition of water molecule, lysis means breaking the molecule. Okay, by adding water, if we break down the any compound, that is called as the hydrolysis process, the process in which by adding the water the molecule becomes means it converts into a simpler ion. Those are called as the hydrolysis process. So when the water molecule is added to this one, this purple color solution or crystalline compound, so it is forming a means NH3 6 plus 2 chloride minus ion. 2 chloride minus ion it is forming, and this complex cation is carrying a plus charge. So 2 plus charge. 2 plus charge means here ammonias are the molecules, neutral molecules, so they doesn't carry any charges. So zero oxidation state. And this plus 2 is because of the nickel here. That is the reason I have written the plus 2 oxidation charge here. See what are the differences here and here. This is a simple salt and this is a complex molecule. And in the simple salt, it is when the water is added to this simple salt, this nickel chloride is dissociating into its constant particles, such as nickel plus 2 ion and chloride minus ion. And this nickel will give the positive test for its identification test and it is conformation test. And chloride ion also it will give the positive test for the identification test for the means halogen test, when it is added to the silver nitride, it will form the white colored ppt. Okay, that is the silver chloride it will give. Here also, when this complex molecule is reacting with the silver nitride, so 2 moles of the silver chloride it is giving. 2 moles of the silver chloride it is giving. So this complex is giving the positive test for the chloride ions. And here also this nickel chloride is also giving the positive test for the halogens here. But whatever the central ion is there, the nickel is there, nickel is here in the plus 2 oxidation state, here also plus 2 oxidation state, and here it is giving the positive test for the nickel identification, that means nickel characteristics test it is giving. But here this nickel is completely differ from this nickel plus 2. Here also nickel is in the plus 2 oxidation state only, but this nickel is not giving the positive test for the its characteristics test. So here ammonia also, this ammonia is having a hard pungent smells, right? Pungent smells they are having, but here the ammonia is completely different and it does not have any characteristic ammoniacal smell here. So these two becomes one entity, one new entity here, one new entity, and this entity, the name of this entity is hexaamine nickel 2 plus. So it is a one of the new entity, like just like a here nickel or here chloride. Okay, this is also one of the new entity, and it does not have the properties of its constant particles like nickel and ammonia. But this total, whatever there inside the square bracket, this total is acting as one entity only, one ion only. So it is having completely new physical properties and new chemical properties other than the this constant particles. They are completely different from the constant ions or molecules like nickel and ammonia here. So this is about the coordination complexes. And one more thing I forgotten to tell you, here it is balancing its valency, right? Nickel is in the plus 2 oxidation state and it is forming the two bonds with the two chlorines, right? So it is forming the plus 2 oxidation state, it is forming the two bonds with the two chlorines. It is fine, it is balanced its valency. Here also nickel is in the +2 oxidation state only. But how many ligands are there? How many ammonia are there here? Ammonia molecules are there. 6 ammonia molecules are there. And the structure of this particular molecule, this particular coordination complex is the octahedral structure like this. So 6 ammonias are surrounded by the nickel plus 2. Nickel plus 2. But what is the oxidation state of the nickel actually? +2 only. So it is one of the headache for the scientists, because we have studied up to now just like a conventional chemistry, right? It is different from the conventional chemistry. So this is the cationic complex, and in the cationic complex molecule, this nickel is the central metal cation, which is carrying a +2 oxidation state, and which is surrounded by the 6 molecules of the ammonia. But actually, how many bonds it has to form? Only 2 bonds it can form. But how many bonds it has formed here? 6 bonds it has formed. And there are the electrostatic attractions are there between this complex and 2 chloride minus ion, because this acts as a cation here, and these are the anions, so which will give the simple salt. The combination of this will give the simple salt of this one. Okay, this one, salt. Okay, so this is about the complex molecules.